methods relate to the training by the defendant of the chimpanzee?
Well, what I've just described is the training that Ms. Kosack at least began to use in training a live chimpanzee for the trick he was going to perform. Now, regardless of what you're training the subject to do, that underlying mechanic remains the same. So I actually brought along a demonstrative to better help explain what I mean, to show the jury positive reinforcement.
Permission for this witness to step down to make use of the demonstrative?
You may step down.
What do we have here?
Well, here we have the reason no one falls asleep in my general education classes. But more specifically, all of these things represent different aspects of a positive reinforcement schedule. So we have a clicker, which represents the command that you give the subject, telling the dog, sit. We have a large red button that all hangs on, which represents the desired behavior. In this case, I would be training the subject just to press the button. And we have Hershey's Kisses, which are great rewards for your general education students.
How would you demonstrate positive reinforcement?
Well, let's pretend for a second that you were a chimpanzee, and I was trying to train him to press this large red button when I give the command. Now, you're not a chimpanzee, but it's fine. What I would first do is I would coax the subject into pressing the button on his own. I may point to it, look at it, I may press it myself. Eventually, the subject is going to imitate my behavior. Once the subject has imitated the behavior, I give the command. Now that creates the beginning of a connection between the behavior and the command. A connection I would reinforce, positive reinforcement, by giving the subject a reward.
How would you demonstrate a continuous reinforcement schedule?
Well, once I've started that connection, I need to strengthen it. Continuous reinforcement is absolutely perfect for that. So just running through how that looks, I would give the command, the subject would perform the behavior, and they would get a reward. And then I would just do it again and again. So don't spend all those in one place. Now you'll notice that every single time the subject performs the desired behavior in response to the command, I give the subject a reward. I'm strengthening that connection.
How would you then demonstrate a transition to a partial reinforcement schedule?
Well, once we finish the phase of continuous reinforcement, that's unsustainable. So you transition to partial in order to shore up the disadvantage of having to reward the subject every single time. So running through how that looks very quickly. But the subject doesn't get a reward. Again, the subject doesn't get a reward. But pay attention on the third time. This time, the subject gets a reward. This is more specifically called fixed ratio positive reinforcement, partial reinforcement. The subject gets a reward 1 in 3 times like we just did, or maybe 1 in 4 like Ms. Kosack used for lives the chimpanzee. The important thing is that it's part of the time.
Permission for this witness to retake their seat?